Hello guys and girls, welcome to the Be More podcast. This is your host Jack Williams and I am very excited to first of all have you here listening. This is for me all about the Be More movement and my ambition and my desire to grow this movement has never been stronger. And through this year, like I mentioned before on the earlier podcast, guys, do you know what? I woke up this year, 1st of January, and I had this feeling in my stomach. I was like, this is going to be the year. And I'm already starting to see some of the results from just having a different mentality, stronger desire, like a burning desire, really, to go and achieve some results. And for me, it's all about setting an example, and this is for me what the Be More example, the Be More podcast, the Be More movement, the Be More brand is all about, is embodying that Be More mentality. And I'm excited, guys. I just wanted to talk today because I spend a lot of time networking. I spend a lot of time talking to people from different backgrounds, from different walks of life, and something that I've really recognised massively over the last maybe the last 6 months or so, is just the reality of where people are at, physically, mentally, in a place of, for some people, in fear, especially what we've gone through over the last few years, with obvious things that I don't even need to bring up really, but people seem to be in a place where a lot of people are hurting right now. And I mean, I saw this on the other day on the BBC News that 2/3 of the country now in the UK are either overweight or obese. And these numbers are starting to become quite scary. And they're not something that's just happened overnight. These are things, and these are habitual behaviours that a lot of people have created in their own lifestyles that have created this result, and it's become the norm. And for me, the Be More podcast is all about helping people to really make the decision to go on a journey of personal transformation, to take personal responsibility, and to make that decision that, do you know what, I'm going to become the best version of myself. And this is why I'm so passionate about what I do, and about the difference that I can make in others through the content that I can share with this podcast, through the work that I do in my life, through my mission. And a lot of it is through my example, because a lot of things people can say, you can say whatever, right? But it doesn't really matter what you say. What matters is what you do. And if you're willing to back up the things that you say, which is what for me makes someone a proper leader and someone who's really leading by example and showing people a better way. And I just recognise over a lot of conversations that I've had over the last few months of just how much people are hurting and how much I really I've made a decision to step up, to add more value as much as I can to people. And I hope that if you're listening to this, you agree with some of the things that I speak about. You are also someone who's ready to step up and be like, do you know what? I can hear what Jack's saying now. I also can recognise, even in myself, how much maybe you've been impacted and influenced by what's happening in the last few years, or whatever position you find yourself in right now. And you can also take that personal responsibility to go, do you know what? It's time for me to go and be a great example to other people, because people are watching what we do, right? In everything that we do. And I've been thinking a lot over the last maybe 6 months, because I'm getting to the point, guys, I'm 30 next month. I'm 30 in March, where obviously people are asking, when are you going to have kids? And do you know what? It's something that I've been thinking about quite a lot. And I'm super excited to be a dad. Like, I'm really, really excited to be a dad. And I've made I've thought about it so much, the kind of dad that I want to be. And it's a dad that leads by example, like a dad that is really healthy, a dad that has great habits, a dad that is eager to learn, studious, reading books, going to events, dresses well, professional, hungry with goals, always having goals, writing things down, not someone who's like a couch potato, always sat down watching TV, always moaning and complaining, but someone who's a winner, someone who's excited, someone who's looking to have a mission to help other people with their lives, adding value to others. Like, that's the type of mentality and the example that I want to portray as a dad to my kids. So for me, I'm like, right, I've not got kids now, but I need to start acting as if right now. I need to start becoming that person right now, because it's going to happen soon, right? There's going to be a time. By the way, don't think that me and Robin are all of a sudden trying or anything. We're not, but we know that inevitably this is going to happen in the future, and we're excited for that moment. But I'm already thinking, do you know what? No, I'm going to make sure that financially I'm in an incredibly strong position when this does happen, that I can be able to give to them the things that I want them to have, and I don't want, like, all these things are going through my mind, and I'm already thinking proactively about this. And even the word thinking, I want to really encourage everyone who's listening to this podcast, who likes these podcasts, and who's really starting to get themselves going in 2022. Like, how much are you really thinking about what you want? How much are you really thinking about the decisions you're making every single day? Maybe are you watching too much rubbish on the TV? Are you watching too much of the news? Are you really thinking about your goals? How often are you writing them down? How excited are you? How determined are you? How much are you willing to deal with to be able to succeed? Because you're going to be faced with setbacks. Are you ready to smash that wall down? Or are you going to be a little bit scared about that? Like, how are you thinking? Because I want to encourage you guys that one of the best books I've ever read, and it took me so many times reading it to understand it, it's called Think and Grow Rich, right? Think and grow rich. Guys, it's all about the way you think. So key. And this is what I've noticed in all these conversations that I've been having with different people over the last few months, is people's thinking isn't aligned with where they probably want to go in their life. They're thinking in lack. They're thinking in fear. They're thinking, just get by, just do another day. Like, oh, I'm just about paying my bills. Like, all this thinking of lack and this thinking of negativity. And by the way, we have been conditioned to think this way for such a long time. It hasn't just happened overnight because we've had a pandemic. It's been happening for years before this. The pandemic has just made people wake up a little bit and go, do you know what? I don't like this, right? But the reality is we've been conditioned to think this way for the whole of our lives, because that's what the reality is, right? But this is what I want to make this podcast about, is for you to go, bang, now's the time to embody my journey of personal transformation. Don't sacrifice who you could be for who you are, right? Don't think, oh, I can't get to that level because of the way I am now. No, guys, you can lose bad habits. Like, and I tried to do this so many times through telling my own story. I look back on some of the things that I used to do. And do you know what I like doing? I've always been someone that's posted quite a lot of my life on social media. I've just liked doing it. And I look back through my Facebook like 8 years ago. You only get the reminders where you were 8 years ago. I look back and I was like, oof. I look back even as far as maybe 3 years ago, and I'm like, wow, what was I doing? Like, for some of the things that I was doing, guys, it's just the way it is. Like, I don't regret any of that stuff, but I also didn't hold on to that as to reasons why I couldn't grow, as to reasons why I couldn't change, as to reasons why I couldn't make different decisions to go and get around better people, to go and better myself. So this podcast is all about getting you really fired up, getting the cogs turning, and getting you thinking, right, now's the time to work harder on myself than I do on my job. Work harder for yourself than you do on your job. You probably heard these things before, especially if you're someone who listens to Jim Rohn, but think about it. How much are you really working on yourself? Because it's so important. Your own personal growth. And even I recognize that this in myself. I'm like, do you know what? I can do more. I can develop myself more. I can work harder. Like, I've been doing it on myself for the last 40. I think I'm on day 43 now, 75 hard. And I'm already feeling like my mental toughness is getting sharper from saying no to the crap food for 43 days, saying no to things that would leave me feeling sluggish, saying no to that rubbish, and saying yes to exercising more, saying yes to reading more, saying yes to getting after it and making better decisions for my health. And I can already feel an incredible amount of momentum starting to build because I was willing to make the decision, and I do show up every day to work harder on myself than I do on any job, right? And have that mentality of how much time am I really working on myself? Because let's say you work 40 hours a week, you're like, oh, that's impossible. Like, it isn't. You probably spend more than 40 hours a week watching TV. Like, work this out. How much time do you spend? Like, you're like, oh, wow, I spend 3 hours at night, 5 days a week. It's 15 hours. And at the weekend, I'm watching TV most of the weekend, or I'm just watching social media. It's the same thing. Social media is the TV, right? It's no better, right? I think I'm losing 30, 40 hours a week doing this shit and thinking I haven't got time to do anything else. You have time. You just need to make better decisions with your time, right? It's how you manage your time. It's the things that you do in your time. Making that decision. I'm going to read one book a week. I'm going to listen to one audio a week in my passive time, whilst I'm cooking, whilst I'm walking to work, whilst I'm in the gym. It's easily done. Like, it's what I do every single week. And people are like, how did you get it all done? I'm like, because the times when you could do it, you don't do it. Whereas I do it. That's the little decision. And guys, I haven't always been this way, but I got around people who had personally transformed. And I was like the hungry student. Tell me how you did this. Notepad and pen at the ready. And they were like, these are the things that I did. I read more. I got myself around better people. I'm like, okay, I can do both those things. I listened to audios whenever I could. So if I was running, if I was in the gym, if I was driving my car, if I was walking, if I was cooking, I was listening to audiobooks to help me develop. So I was like, great, I can do that. I can do that while I stretch. I can do that in all this spare time that I have. So I can start to develop and gain more awareness, become more consciousness, think differently, think bigger, think in just goals versus problems, right? Don't wish it was easier, guys. Just wish you were better. Wish for more skills. Don't wish for less problems. Wish for more skills. Take personal responsibility. Guys, I hope you're as excited as I am talking about this, because this is the how hungry I am to help other people to start to be able to go, right, now's the time. I'm 28 now, I'm 38 now, I'm 58 now, I'm 21 now, I'm 19 now. However old you are listening to this, today's the day that you go, right, that's enough. Stop doing these stupid things that aren't getting me anywhere in my life. And by the way, in case you guys are thinking, oh, Jack never does anything that's maybe, I don't know, fun or whatever, never watches Netflix. Guys, I do. Me and Robin right now, we're watching SWAT on Netflix. It's our little thing that we like to watch together. It's brilliant, right? We'll watch a couple of episodes maybe on a Friday and Saturday night. But other than that, guys, during the week, no chance. No way, right? Because that's the time to be getting after the goals. Like, if you're doing it every day, like, the compound effect of that versus the possible compound effect of getting out there and networking, finding better people to go and get around, looking and studying opportunities, developing some skills, maybe reading, maybe just anything that could be potentially helping you to grow. Now, I don't think Netflix is doing that for anyone, right? But so many people's attention is on things like this, is in Instagram reels and stories and rubbish like that. Guys, like, make sure that there isn't a day that goes by where you haven't gone, yep, I've laid the brick, I'm 1% better, the brick has been laid. Because, guys, trust me, after a year, you've got a big old wall. After 5 years, you've got a mansion. After 10 years, you've got an empire, right? Because of the little brick. It's not because of doing anything outrageous. It's just the brick that you lay today, the 1% better, the 10 pages of the book, the outdoor workout, the gym session, the weight session, the healthy eating, the networking, the meeting new people, the working harder on yourself than you do on your job, the working hard in your job, the becoming the best person at your workplace, because you've got that desire, you've got that tunnel vision goals that most people simply don't have now, because they're so caught up in all this rubbish that's going around in society. Don't be that person. Be the one that's like, everyone's looking at you thinking, and by the way, everyone's looking at you thinking many things. Who gives a shit what other people think, right? I spoke about this in the last podcast. Flex that id-gaff muscle. I don't give a fuck, right? What other people think, because they're going to have an opinion. Opinions are like assholes, right? Everyone has one. Who cares? The only one that matters is your story. If you you don't need to buy their story, as long as you don't change yours. It's your story. It's your life. Most people are extras in their own movie. They're not even making their own decisions. They're like an extra in their own life. Whereas you are writing your own book every single day of your life. Are you proud of it? Are you excited about it? Are you in control of it? Or are you just doing what other people do or other people expect you to do, or other people want you to do. Whereas, are you really doing what you want to do? Take personal responsibility. And guys, this doesn't happen overnight, but it happens when you can't change like the destination overnight, but you can change your direction right now of where you're going, the decisions you make, who you hang around. Guys, if you're like, I really want to stop gambling, I want to stop taking drugs, I want to stop drinking too much, well, look at your pals. If they're doing all those things, maybe you want to change your circle, right? These are the things that you're going to have to do. It's not easy. It's tough. I'm not saying you've got to just go and remove yourself from all your friends, but just maybe limit your association. Maybe get some other friends. Maybe get some friends with goals, friends with desire, friends with excitement. Because it's only going to reflect in yourself. We become the average of the people that we hang around, right? So I know this has been quite a strong podcast today, but it's how I'm feeling. I'm feeling strong. I'm feeling excited. I'm feeling a lot of responsibility and duty to go and help more people with this. To think. Help people to think, right? And think that they can. Because you can change things. You can get in the shape of your life. You can build a 6-figure, 7-figure income. You can do whatever you want to do. You've just got to make the decision that, of course, you think you can too. Because if you don't believe it, you're not going to get it, right? So you've got to start to believe it. But this is a podcast to help you to believe more, to help you to think bigger, to help you to be excited, to help you to go for it, to help you to go for adversity, to help you to run through brick walls for what you want. And hopefully you guys are enjoying it. And by the way, I appreciate so much when people share this podcast, because I know and I do believe that a lot of people right now are hurting. And I know a lot of people need a voice like this in their ears. And I appreciate this might be a bit strong for some people. I just don't know any other way of talking about this stuff, right? Because I'm so passionate about it, because I'm basically talking to myself maybe 5 years ago, a guy who was drifting through his life, waiting for something to happen to me, when, guys, nothing is going to happen. You've got to go and make it happen. You've got to go and get shit done for things to start to change, for results to start to change. It's like saying to a farmer, where's the mushrooms? He'd be like, well, I've not planted any, but maybe they'll come through. You'd look at him like he was mental. But that's how some people are with their goals. They're like, oh, yeah, well, I hope I can get out of this job and start doing something that I like. Cool. What are you doing about it? Are you reading any books? Are you going to any courses? Are you studying this, or what are you doing? Oh, not at the minute. I'm too busy with my work. I'm like, cool. Well, you're going to be still there in a few years' time then, pal. Because unless you start investing your time into making things different, things ain't going to change, right? So really think to yourself, what direction am I going in? What am I doing about it? Where am I going? 2022 can be the year. Let's make it the best year. But like I said, guys, I appreciate you sharing this podcast. It really does mean a lot to me. If you share it on your stories, I'll do my best to share it as well. Tag me in it if you can. If you can leave a review on the podcast, if it's on iTunes, or give me a 5-star review on Spotify, I really, really appreciate it. But have a great weekend, guys, or day, whatever day you're listening to this on. I appreciate your support. Let's do this. Let's be more, have more, do more, have more fun, have more results, have the best year ever. Cheers, guys. Speak soon. Bye-bye.